In mid-January 2024, Wells, Maine got slammed by two back-to-back storms, with the second hitting around January 13th, causing some of the worst coastal damage in the state. Webhanet Drive took a brutal beating, with homes flooded, some condemned, and debris like sheds and even parts of decks floating down streets that looked more like rivers. Waves over 16 feet and a record-breaking tide of 14.57 feet in nearby Portland higher than the 1978 blizzard's mark, combined with 60-mile-per-hour winds to devastate the coast. Roads were impassable, and the town set up dumpsters for residents to clear out ruined belongings. Cleanup was intense, with professionals handling the dangerous mess while officials warned folks to stay away from the hazardous areas. The storm's unusual southeast direction and king tides made them especially destructive, raising fears about more frequent extreme weather as sea levels rise. It was a rough one for Wells, no question. Hello, and welcome to this in-depth look at the January 15th storm that struck Wells, Maine. This powerful weather event left an indelible mark on this charming coastal town, bringing devastation but also highlighting the resilience of its community. Today, we'll dive into the details of the storm's impact, including total damage estimates and the costs involved. We'll also explore specific areas like Mile Road and the Marsh, and then shift gears to discuss the good, the bad, and whether Wells is a place you'd want to call home. Let's get started. First, let's paint a picture of what happened during this ferocious storm. Wells, nestled along the southern Maine coast, is no stranger to rough weather, but the January 15th storm was particularly brutal. High winds whipped across the Atlantic, combining with heavy rainfall and an astronomical high tide to create massive storm surges. Waves crashed over seawalls, flooding streets, homes, and businesses with relentless force. The ocean seemed to reclaim parts of the land, turning familiar neighborhoods into watery chaos. Emergency responders worked tirelessly, rescuing stranded residents and securing damaged areas, but the sheer power of the surge overwhelmed many defenses. One of the hardest hit spots was Mile Road, a scenic stretch that runs parallel to the beach and offers stunning views on a normal day. During the storm, Mile Road became a torrent of seawater. Floodwaters rose rapidly, submerging the pavement and forcing authorities to erect barriers to prevent vehicles from entering the danger zone. Nearby businesses, including iconic spots like local lobster shacks, suffered extensive water damage. Foundations eroded, interiors flooded, and equipment ruined. Residents along Mile Road watched helplessly as waves battered their properties, washing away decks, stairs, and even parts of driveways. The road itself buckled in places from the pressure, requiring heavy equipment for repairs in the aftermath. It's a stark reminder of how vulnerable these low-lying coastal roads can be when nature unleashes its fury. Equally affected was the marsh, that vast, beautiful expanse of wetlands that defines much of Wells' natural landscape. The marsh, including areas near the Webhanet River and parts of the Rachel Carson National Wildlife Refuge, acts as a natural buffer against storms, absorbing water and reducing erosion. But during this event, it was overwhelmed. Surging tides pushed salt water deep into the marsh grasses, flooding trails and habitats. This inundation led to significant erosion along the edges, where soil and vegetation were stripped away, altering the delicate ecosystem. Wildlife, from birds to small mammals, faced disrupted nesting grounds and food sources. The marsh's role in protecting inland areas was tested to its limits, and while it helped mitigate some flooding, The overload caused long-lasting changes, including potential shifts in plant life and increased salinity that could harm freshwater species. Recovery in the marsh has been slow, with efforts to replant and restore balance ongoing. But it underscores how these vital natural features are both shields and victims in extreme weather. Now let's talk numbers. The total damage estimates and the staggering costs this storm inflicted. Statewide, the January storms, including this one, racked up an estimated $90 million in damage to public infrastructure alone. This includes roads, bridges, utilities, and waterfront facilities crucial to Maine's economy. Wells bore some of the worst of it, with dozens of homes along the coast sustaining severe structural damage. At least 9 homes were condemned, deemed unsafe due to compromised foundations and the risk of collapse. Private property losses in Wells likely added millions more, though exact figures for the town are hard to pinpoint amid the broader tally. Businesses faced shutdowns, with repair costs soaring into the tens of thousands per property. Think ruined inventory, electrical systems shorted out by saltwater, and the need for complete rebuilds. The economic ripple effect was profound. Lost tourism revenue in a town that thrives on its beaches, disrupted fishing operations, and increased insurance premiums for everyone. Thankfully, amid all this destruction, there was no loss of life reported from the storm in Wells or across Maine. That's a testament to the preparedness of local emergency services, timely evacuations, and the community's awareness of coastal risks. No fatalities meant the focus could shift quickly to recovery, but the financial toll was immense. Federal aid, including over $4.7 million from FEMA distributed to hundreds of households, and an additional $60 million from the state legislature, has helped cover some costs. Still, many residents are dipping into savings or facing loans to rebuild. This is the good, the bad, and reality of Wells, Maine.